Good evening, Facebook. Good evening. I don't think I can tag. I can't believe I can tag people. I can tag people in my life. I did not know that on normal. I thought you could only tag in groups. Should I give it a try? I'm going to share this to a group. I'm going to share it to there. And I'm going to share it to there.
Go on, you're going to finish your donuts.
I'm going to eat all of my donuts. So I wanted to come on today and talk to you a little bit about something that Neil and I always get asked. So
I'll show you. I'm going to demonstrate what happens.
can you demonstrate? This is a demonstration.
We get this
We get this all the time.
every day.
So this. I mean, he's been over the top. He's
What?
been over the top now.
What exercise can I do to get rid of this then?
That is what exercise is it that I can do to get rid of this? I mean, he's been over the top. It is a lot of the time.
Why they tap it? That's men, isn't it? That's men. Women, what exercise can I do to get rid of these?
But it is tummy, yeah. So a lot of time it is how you know what exercise can I do to lose body fat, guys? It starts with your diet. Okay, you can do as many crunches as you want in the world. You can run distances, but unless you get your food sorted, if you have a lot of belly fat, it's likely not to go unless you can get your nutrition sorted. And you know that means eating well, eating lots of fiber, getting your protein in. There are so many things that you can do to try and help reduce that belly fat without having to do about 1 million sit-ups. Now, obviously, if you are doing 1 million sit-ups, fantastic. If you're doing any sit-ups, fantastic. Any form of exercise, great. Obviously, you're building up the muscles underneath that belly fat, but if you go and do, like, example, an abs class or a core class, I do not care what any YouTube videos say. If they say, get abs in 5 days, I am calling their bull crap, okay? Because it's not gonna happen unless you've already got low levels of body fat. It's just not. Okay, so if you've got a lot of body fat on your tummy, don't think by doing 5 days on YouTube videos where these influencers are saying, hey, come and do abs with me 5 days, get a six pack in 6 days. Bull crap. It can't happen unless you sort it out in the kitchen first. Okay, yes, obviously, exercising, fantastic. Building lean muscle tissue is great because obviously that's going to help burn body fat as well. But we do need to get your food sorted. Now, there are a couple of things you can obviously do. One of the big ones that I tend to try and, hey, Amanda, hi, beautiful. I haven't seen you for ages. Yay. One of the biggest things that you can do, obviously, is get more fiber into your diet, okay? A lot of people, when they come and train with me, when I'm looking at their foods and their nutrition, when they start coming through the app, I'll notice that their fiber is really, really low. Now, obviously, we don't want to go super high on the fiber because that can cause problems as well, but we want to build it up slowly. So eating more soluble fiber is going to help you because the eating more soluble fiber, basically what happens is it absorbs the water to form like a gel-like substance, which then slows the food down, which then keeps your hunger at bay, which means you're not going to go and reach for those cookies and crisps and all of that lot or whatever it is. You know, you're less likely to overeat, less likely to gain more, for example. So you want to be looking at some soluble fiber, things like flaxseed, adding that into your diet, avocados. If you can stomach them, which I can't, by the way, is sprouts, but they're great as well. Any legumes, blackberries, things like that. So they're really good soluble fiber to add into your diet, which is going to help you. Another thing that you might want to look at doing is avoiding trans fats or trying to really limit trans fats. You know, they can obviously lead to things like insulin resistance, which I've just been chatting to some of my ladies in my one-on-one group, which can then obviously lead to abdominal fat gain. Basically, the trans fats are pumping hydrogen into unsaturated fats, which can come to things like, you know, margarines and spreads and things like that. So just be mindful of those. A lot of foods don't have as many trans fats in, but that's why it's always good to read the food labels when you're buying stuff, especially packaged foods, processed foods. Look at them and check whether they have trans fats. Ideally, that's a red light and you want to get out of there, you want to go, or you want to go, well, I'm not going to have too much of that. So number 2 would be avoiding trans fats or trying to reduce the amount of trans fats that you have in your diet. So if you are somebody who likes to have a lot of packaged foods just for convenience, you're going to have to start buying a bit more fresh or buying in bulk, cooking in bulk to save yourself adding extra belly fat on. Another big one, and I know some people will speak to me about belly fat who potentially don't drink, but it is alcohol. Sorry, but it just is. Studies have found that obviously drinking in excess of alcohol can cause central obesity. And obviously excess fat around the waistline. So not saying to not drink alcohol. I know a lot of my clients do enjoy alcohol, that's fine, but just reduce the amount that you have. Or even if you drink a lot, even if you can just cut back by 1 drink a week and then start to reduce it bit by bit. I'm not telling you to go teetotal. If it's not for you, that's fine. If you enjoy a good glass of wine or whatever it is, or Prosecco, fine. But just know that it can cause central obesity if you have too much of it all the time. So just try and minimize the amount. If you're able to go to teetotal, fantastic. If not, just try to minimize the amount that you do have of that. So if you're a binge drinker, if you like to have a lot of lager and a lot of beer, it's gonna sit right there if you have too much of it. Next is one of the biggest things that a lot of people tend to not have, which is protein. And some people can think they're having plenty of protein when they're actually not, which is why obviously I'm going to talk about tracking food in a second, but obviously if you do track your food, you'll be able to see the amount that you're actually having. Listen guys, getting more protein into your diet will raise your metabolic rate, okay? That means it's going to boost your metabolism, which is going to help with muscle tone, and obviously that's then going to help with burning fat. So obviously if you want to try and lose belly fat, you want to increase muscle mass, and I'm not talking big Arnie muscles, nothing like that, especially for you ladies, I'm not talking about that, but it's going to increase your muscle mass, your lean muscle tissue, whilst burning the body fat. So that's why it's important that we do get protein into our body, because it also releases the fullness hormone, PYY. Sorry, I needed to drink some water there because my throat's dry. So you want to increase the fullness hormone, PYY, which will then help decrease that hunger hormone growth. Okay? So we get lots of high protein from things like your lean meats, your fish, your eggs, dairy if you have it. I don't have it, but if you do have it, great. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you've got your beans and legumes, tofu, things like that. So high protein, there is I get this all the time. What stuff can I have for protein? If you are making sure that you have a bit of protein in each single meal that you're having, spread across the day, you're good to go. Your body's going to be, feel like it's full, it's going to be satiated, and you're less likely to reach for those crisps and chocolates and sweets and things like that if you are feeling satiated, right? So if you're having the fiber and the protein, you are on point. So one of the biggest things I say to my nutrition clients is always let's try and get those protein levels up and that fiber level up. Then you're on the winning streak, yeah? And obviously trying to get your protein from natural sources or unprocessed sources is obviously best. If you need to reach for protein shakes as an added thing, that's fine, but you don't want to be having like 3 protein bars a day to get your protein, and you don't want to be having 3 protein shakes a day. You want to be having it from real food if you can, where possible. Like I say, it's okay to have protein shakes, but not like 4, 5, 6 times a day or something that's going to mess around with your tummy. Next, I would say, obviously, is reducing your stress. Stress is a huge issue when it comes to, it's running across, weight gain, especially around the middle. What are you looking at?
I'm doing real good, thanks for asking.
So basically, it can trigger your adrenal glands to produce cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Woman stress, and obviously high levels of stress can sometimes, for some people it doesn't, it can sometimes lead to them not wanting to eat, but a lot of high levels of stress can sometimes, or that stress hormone can increase the appetite, and it'll drive that to abdominal fat storage. So we want to just be careful. We want to try and reduce the stress. So if that means like you go out and take yourself out for a nice walk and you appreciate what's around you, if that means getting out your journal, do some gratitude, if that means you doing some yoga, whatever it is to make you feel de-stressed, do it. Yeah, that's going to help you get rid of that belly fat or stop you from getting too much belly fat. And number 5 would be lift some damn weights. Lift some weight, build some lean muscle. When you are building lean muscle, it's going to help burn body fat. Yes, we want to get more lean muscle tissue and less body fat. So if you're doing all those crunches, if you're lifting plates to do your crunches, whatever it is, you're building that muscle, but it's not going to show unless we get that food sorted as well. So obviously we've got the mixture of the strength training and getting the food right. you're onto a winning formula right there. Obviously, some people like to do some cardio, but again, if you're sat down doing cardio and you're doing hours and hours and hours of cardio, I mean, honestly, if you want to go and do 6 hours of cardio a day, for example, fine. And you want to keep eating all the sugary stuff, fine. But you'd be better off just trying to sort it out in the kitchen a little, and you will see changes to your body. You just have to be patient. If you've been abusing your body for years and you do have quite a bit of body fat to lose, it's going to take a little while for it to go. Don't expect to go overnight. Make those changes, stick to those changes, and things will change. Now, the biggest thing is going to be, as well, I've said the biggest thing about 3 times now, but one of the main things is tracking your foods. You don't have to track forever, but I am a firm believer of seeing what you're putting in your body. See you later, my lovely. He's off to teach body pump now at the studio. I'm a firm believer of seeing what you're eating. So if you are currently struggling with belly fat, and you want to get it gone, and you're not tracking, I would download a food tracking app, something like MyFitnessPal, anything like that, so that you can actually see the amounts of food that you're having. Most people are shocked. Either they're not eating enough, or they're eating too much, or they're not eating enough protein, and you can literally see it all in there. If you just track your foods, even if it's just for a week, you can actually see what you're eating and how much of that is empty calories, how much of that is food that's going to actually help you get to your goal. So I would always recommend trying to track your food, or at least writing it down. Things like portion control are going to come into play as well, because a lot of people say, well, I eat really, really healthy. But it's like, okay, but do you know how much you're eating of that really, really healthy food? And just because something's healthy doesn't mean it's not laden with some calories as well. So we do have to just make sure that we understand what we're putting into our body. So if you use a food tracking app, it's really going to help you understand a little bit more whether you're getting enough protein or fiber, for example, or if you're overeating on fats and carbohydrates, for example, which, by the way, it's okay to eat carbs, it's okay to eat fat, but we need to make sure if you want to lose some weight, you are in a calorie deficit, and you're not going to know if you're in a calorie deficit unless you start looking at your portions, or at least you start looking at tracking your foods to try and understand better. I hope this has helped you a little bit, guys, because this is a big question that always gets asked to both Neil and I. So I'm hoping that this has answered that question. You need to sort your food out, sort your diet out. Carry on with the crunches, because we want to have a strong abs, we want to have a strong core, but don't expect those crunches to magically get rid of that belly fat. You've got to do some work in the kitchen first. Okay, guys, any questions? If you'd like my help with anything, reach out. I always have, I don't know, it's pinned actually in my Facebook group. It's not in the group, I'm on my main page, aren't I? But if you are interested in working with me and getting your nutrition sorted, I can pop you my diary for a free 15-minute consultation call. So if you are interested, just let me know. You can PM me, or you can just message on the comment below. What are you doing, Phil? Right, I've got to go because I've got to take my boy to kickboxing now. Is it kickboxing still, or boxing?
Boxing.
It's boxing. Kickboxing? Which one is it today?
Boxing, and tomorrow's kickboxing.
He's got boxing now, and then tomorrow's kickboxing. My active kids, oh my goodness. Right, okay. Have an amazing evening or afternoon wherever you are in the world. Take care. Bye-bye.